Earth Day is April 22nd. Stay tuned at the end of the show to learn about the free science games and activities your students can play at Legends of Learning to learn about Earth Day. Merge Cube Mania in Middle School, episode 288.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
So today we're talking with Karen Bosch, and she, I just found out, was McCall's 2018 Tech Using Teacher of the Year. So she is in Michigan. And today we're talking about Merge Cube Mania in middle school. So Karen, what is a Merge Cube?
So a Merge Cube is an augmented reality device. It looks like a cube, a black cube, and it's squishy, foamy, very flexible. And it looks like it has a QR code on each side of the cube. And those codes serve as a trigger. When you scan the cube with your mobile device, it will work with an iPhone or an iPad, or it works with Android. You have to have a Merge Cube app on it. And when you scan the cube and you're holding the cube in your hand, when you look at it through the iPhone, instead of seeing the cube, you're going to see something else in your hand. It might be a human heart. It might be a fire. It might be a castle. But it is very, very cool to see something else being held in your hand. A little bit different than a lot of other augmented reality. A lot of times, augmented reality, you have a trigger that you print out and you scan it flat. But because this is a three-dimensional object, you can turn it and interact with it. So it's pretty interesting. And it also has within the apps the ability to take photos and to take videos. So you can actually video and document what it is that you are seeing through the augmented reality.
So we're kind of looking through the screen, and we've done shows before that we'll link to about augmented reality. And you're looking at this cube, but it probably doesn't look like a cube. It could look like all different kinds of things. Like, what's an example of something it might look like?
So there are things where it will look like maybe a castle or an aquarium, or it might look like a human skull. They have probably about a dozen or so different apps that you can download, and many of them are free. Some of them are interactive games. So you might find something like Tilt Ball, where there's a marble that's rolling down the different faces, and as you turn it, the marble rolls in different directions. Or there's a Starfighter one where you're actually doing like a little space battle, and as you turn the cube, your little Starfighter will move in different directions. They've also got apps. One's called Dig, which is kind of like a little mini Minecraft, and you can actually create things by tapping on to the cube, and the holes and different things will appear. One that I really like is a choose your own adventure story. And this is called 57 Degrees North. It starts out, the cube looks like a crate, but as you turn it, the story opens and you see inside of the cube, you see a scene and you hear a voice of somebody talking and narrating the story. And then as you turn the cube, it will say, okay, which direction do you want to go? Do you want to do this or do that? And you turn the cube in that direction, and then the box opens to show you the next scene. And I would love to have my students be able to program something like that and create their own stories. I think that would be pretty neat. And they also have interactive, more learning type games. One's called Mr. Body, where you see a human body, and then as you tap on different parts of the body, the organs will open up and there'll be some information about it. And again, with the cube, you can turn it so you can see the things all from all different angles and sides. My favorite one is one called Explore, which is a solar system. So it actually looks like you're holding a spinning solar system in your hands. And I was doing this one last week with some preschool students. And the teacher, I said, you've got to come over and see this. And she was just blown away because she's been trying to help her preschoolers visualize what the solar system looks like. And, poster on the wall is one thing, but to be able to take this cube use the augmented reality, and she was projecting it up on her screen. And now she can tap on Jupiter, and Jupiter will come up, and she can turn it, and they can see the moons and all the different aspects of the different planets. So that interactivity is pretty neat. So there's a lot of things that you can do with them. That's pretty cool.
Incredible. Okay. Now, we had never heard of Merge Cube, and then all of a sudden, everybody started talking about Merge Cube. So how did this Merge Cube Mania start anyway?
About a month ago, I started seeing stuff on social media, and I saw Leslie Fisher first talking about it, and then I saw all my friends talking about it, because the Merge Cube originally is about $15 to $20, but Walmart had an overstock, and so they were selling them off for $1 each. and so technology is expensive, but when you can, for $1 each, put something into the hand of everybody, you don't have to share, you don't have to do it in stations, you don't have to have partners. For $1, you can't go wrong. And so everyone was out, buying hundreds and hundreds of these Merge Cubes. So I ended up buying 32 of them. And I figured, even if I just do one lesson with them, I can get my $1 worth of use out of each one. So that's kind of how it started. Did you get any of them, Vicki?
I couldn't find them in my Walmart. Of course, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, why did I not see these things? And they just weren't there. And, by that time, there were just pictures of educators with them in their shopping carts, like everywhere, because I think it was just, yeah. So if apps for the Merge Cube are limited right now, which you said there's 8 or so apps.
Yeah.
Your favorite thing is the solar system. I mean, do you have any other ways you're using it with your middle schoolers?
Well, what I decided to do is, it's not so much right now is what you can learn with the cube, but I think there's a great learning process that you can go through with your kids, again, because they are in their hands. Everyone has one, and the threshold to get them started takes about 3 minutes. I demoed it. I said, skip the activation code, skip the login, say yes when it asks if you want to use the camera and the photo. Here's the little tutorial, run through that. And that basically was all the instruction I needed to give. And then I said, okay, you've got a bunch of apps on your iPad, figure it out yourself, explore, find out what you can do. And so they basically were learning to use the technology themselves, which is what they're going to have to do for the rest of their lives. So I didn't have to put together tutorials. They just explored. And what you started seeing happening was, oh, how did you do that? Or, oh, did you know you could do this? And they started discovering things. Oh, we can download this, we can do that. And so they just were totally engrossed in learning how to use the cube and just exploring all the depths of it. That was part 1. That was day 1. Day 2 was they had to document it. And so each of my middle school students has a blog. And so they had to write a review. They had to include media in the review. They had to tell what they learned about how to use it. They had to give some examples. They had to give their opinion of it. What are some of the pluses? What are some of the minuses? And as the students started putting together the video or the media, just because, again, they could take photos and they could take videos through the apps themselves. Some of them just put like a lot of little pictures and video clips in, but some of them said, well, could I combine a bunch of videos together in iMovie? Oh, sure. Or could I use the Apple Clips app? And that was even better, because then they started adding narration onto their videos. They added titles, they added annotations, added closed captions. So the variety of different ways that the students put together their reviews. But again, it wasn't so much what you could do with the learning right now, but it was just that whole process of learning how to use it and then being able to document it in a way that you could share with an audience.
So my students have programmed in augmented reality using something called Metaverse, which is awesome. But this really gives a way to anchor physical objects, into your augmented reality app. And then the other thing you're doing is you're app smashing. So you're combining things that you can do with the cubes with other apps to kind of make these fantastic new experiences where the kids are in it, but they're interacting with objects that it looks like they're holding that they're not necessarily holding. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely. I've seen some people use the solar system one as a background for green screen. I've seen people, using the solar system as part of, clips where they're giving reports on planets. But again, yeah, because you can record media with the app, there's just a lot of different ways that you can use that to smash it together.
So we'll link in the show notes to the Merge Cubes, but this is augmented reality and it's continuing to grow as so many of us are learning about it, playing with it, and really helping our kids with that computational thinking of experimenting, app smashing, trying new things out. So let us know how you're using your Merge Cube.
Well, for me, I just played with it. I mean, it just was very fascinating to see. It is a big wow when kids can hold something in their hand and then look at it and it looks like something else. I'm hoping to maybe be able to have these older kids, bring them in with younger kids to partner with them to get them started. And then I want to do this whole exploration thing with some of my other grades, with my 3rd and 4th and 5th graders, where they just go at it and learn about it on their own, because I do think that that's part of transfer of skills, taking skills that they've learned in one area and then learning how to successfully navigate a new technology, but finding the similarities with what they already know and putting it into a new context. And I think that's pretty important for our kids today.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. It's been fun talking to you.
Legends of Learning is sharing free games and Earth Day resources. Go to coolcatteacher.com/Earth to play the science games and activities for Earth Day. Legends of Learning has fun, engaging science games for grades 3 through 8, aligned with next generation science standards. Check out my review of their product on my blog this week and celebrate Earth Day with some exciting games at Legends of Learning. Just go to coolcatteacher.com/Earth.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.